switching gears just slightly on this channel, I'd love to learn a little bit about some of these artists that I react to. And one of the artists that I react to is Bob Dylan. And I'm becoming a fan of his catalog if you've been following the channel for quite some time. So today I'm going to learn a little bit about him and why he doesn't do interviews, okay? Now, a lot of great artists don't do interviews. I know that Beyonce doesn't do interviews. Frank Ocean doesn't do interviews. The Weeknd doesn't do interviews. Fiona Apple, and a list of others. It's rare, but there are artists who just don't do them. All right. And a lot of these artists tend to be very, very talented. So I'm going to learn a little bit about Bob Dylan today. Before we get started, if you like this type of content, do me a big favor and like the video. If you want to stay up to date whenever I post, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get right into this.
You know, then you'll ever know about me, ever. I mean, I could tell you, you know, I'm not a folk singer and explain to you why, but you wouldn't really understand. You know, and I've never been in Time Magazine. I don't need Time Magazine.
I don't know if that's just a diss towards this interviewer here, you know, saying you wouldn't understand, as though saying he's not capable, he's not intelligent enough to understand it. I mean, I probably get it, you know, meaning that you can't put me in a box. I'm an artist. I create music. And if it just so happens to fit into that specific genre, then it does. But I may do something completely the next day. So you can't put me in a box. At least that's how I perceive it within the first 15 seconds.
And I don't think I'm a folk singer. You'll probably call me a folk singer. But, you know, the other people know better. Because the people that, you know, that buy my records, listen to me, don't necessarily read Time Magazine.
Awkward Bob Dylan interview moments.
How many people who labor in the same musical vineyard in which you toil, how many are protest singers? That is, people who use their music and use the songs to protest the social state in which we live today, the matter of war, the matter of crime, or whatever it might be.
How many?
Yes. Are there many who do?
Yeah, well, I think there's about 136.
You say about 136? Or do you mean exactly 136?
It's a really nice way to answer a really stupid question, you know, or maybe he could have phrased it a different way. Like, how am I going to know the answer to that? All right. Let's go with 136.
It's either 136 or 142. What do you think?
He's a troll.
I have no opinion about that.
Well, why?
Now, I bet back in the day, he was probably considered to be an asshole. You know, a lot of people probably didn't like that. You know, I see the humor in it.
What do you think?
I have no opinion about that.
Well, why?
Because I haven't heard you sing, actually.
You've never heard me sing. And here you are sitting here and asking me all these questions.
Hopes of the future. To be honest, you know, I don't have any hopes for the future, and I just hope to have enough boots to be able to change them. That's all, really.
Simple, man.
Doesn't boil down to anything more than that. If it did, I would certainly tell you.
A personal question here, and I hope you'll forgive it, but you sound and you look very tired. Are you ill, or is this your normal state, your normal condition?
All right, now these are the questions you never know. You know, like there's some people that are really good at asking great thought-provoking questions. There's interviewers out there that do that, and then there's some people like, man, did you even take time to put together a series of questions that are more interesting? You know, so I can kind of see why he's like, what?
Be offended.
Well,
you look and sound tired.
I'm, you know, I don't like to hear that kind of thing.
I don't mean to offend you, but you do. We can hardly hear you, and you look weary.
I'm from New York City. You're all from California. You're this health thing. I don't know. I feel quite embarrassed about it the same way you do, probably. But I don't, you know, I have no explanation for it.
You sing them in new versions. That was an effort on your part to avoid being called by the nostalgia. Mm-hmm. It is. Do you want to avoid
you know, when an introvert becomes famous?
Interpretation by singing your old songs in new versions.
Yes.
Yes. That's all you got to say about that.
Bob Dylan on his dislikes for interviews and journalists.
I mean, I just about had it, though. I'd had it with the
with the whole scene. Just being pressed and hammered and, expected to answer questions is enough to make anybody sick, really. What do you think, what do you think Mozart would say to you if you ever come up to him and ask him questions that you would ask, what kind of questions would you ask him? Tell me, Mr. Mozart.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't do it.
Well, how come you do it to me?
You see, the songs, though, is what I do. Yeah. Is write the songs and sing them, and perform them. That's what I do. The performing part of it could end, but I'm going to be writing these songs and singing them on records and I see no end right now. That's what I do. Anything else just interferes with it. I mean, anything else trying to get on top of it, making something out of it, which it isn't, it just brings me down. And it's just makes it seem all very cheap.
Performers feel that they don't feel that they're adversaries, but they do feel that they feel a lot of times that their points are not taken the right way, or they feel imposed upon to answer questions that have really little to do with why they fill halls or sell records.
Because they'll turn on you in 2 seconds, all right? First they love you, and then once you get up there, then they hate you. They love to bring you up only to tear you right back down.
And I only got turned off to the press in the middle 60s when the record company would send you over to do an interview with someone, and you'd be honest with that person, and he'd ask you questions, and you'd answer them in an honest way, and then you'd look, and then you'd see the article when it would come out.
Have you found that the texts of the interviews with you, which have been published, are accurate to the actual conversations?
No, that's another reason for I don't really give press interviews or anything.
That's actually a good question.
Because, even if you do something, there are a lot of people here so they know what's going on, but if you just do it with one guy or a few guys, they just take it all out of context,
The audience that subscribe to Time magazine, the audience of the people that want to know what's happening in the world week by week, the people that work during the day and can read it, it's small, right, and it's concise, and there's pictures in it. I mean, those a certain class of people, it's a class of people that take the magazine seriously. I mean, sure, I could read it, and I read it on the airplanes, but I don't take it seriously. If I want to find out anything, I'm not going to read Time magazine. I'm not going to read Newsweek. I'm not going to read any of these magazines. I mean, because they just got too much to lose by printing the truth. You know that.
I kind of figured that. All right, highly intelligent, knows a lot about the world, so, people like that. And then when you listen to his music, and some of the things that he writes about, these things are in his head, so you don't see a lot of humor in the way he talks. I think that a lot of people who are highly intelligent, self-aware of things going on in the world, and also that can really spot a lot of our foolish behaviors, us as human beings, it's hard for them to see the humor in it. Because, at least in these instances, these little clips that I see him in, these little clips, the same way I'm just seeing snippets of his interview, that's exactly what he's talking about. He was like, from these interviews, he seems like a really serious guy with a lot on his mind, but you also can see that a lot is on his mind based off the music he makes.
Newsweek, I'm not going to read any of these magazines. I mean, because they just got too much to lose by printing the truth. You know that.
They just take it, split it up in the middle, or just take what they want to use, and they ask you a question and you answer it, and then it comes out in print that they just substitute another question for your answer. That makes you just sound like the way it's not really truthful, to do that kind of thing. So I just don't do it.
Then you'll ever know about me, ever. I mean, I could tell you, I'm not a folk singer and explain to you why, but you wouldn't really understand. All you could do, you could nod your head. You would nod your head.
No, well, they've read a lot of dumb things about you in the papers then, I suppose, and I thought you could straighten them out yourself.
I can't straighten them out. I don't think they have to be straightened out. I know that. I believe that they know. They know. Don't you know the Swedish people? I mean, they don't have to be told. They don't have to be explained to. I mean, you should know that. I mean, Swedish people just don't have to be explained. They don't, you know, you can't tell Swedish people something which they, you know, which is, you know, self-explanatory. Swedish people are smarter than that.
You think so?
You're not going to make me feel unhappy by anything you print about me or anything, you know, or anything like that. I just can't, it couldn't, you know, you couldn't offend me. And I'm sure, you know, I couldn't offend you. So, all I can hope for you to do is, you know, all your ideas in your own head, somehow, wherever they are.
You wrote the press. I figured you lied to it. Why?
I realized at the time that the press, the media, that's not the judge. God's the judge. The only person you have to think about lying twice to is either yourself or to God.
Ooh,
the press isn't either of them. And I just figured it irrelevant.
He's exactly as I expected. He makes the, in my opinion, he makes the mistake of thinking that everyone that he talks to is just as smart as he is, all right? And not everyone is. He said, "Oh, you wouldn't be offended." Well, I don't know if he's living in 2025 because most people today are led by their emotions. But it was interesting seeing these little clips in the interview, and you know, it gives me a greater perspective when I listen to the music. You know, what do you guys think in the comment section below? You know, if you're a Bob Dylan fan, and also I still do music reactions just from time to time. I was going to watch this video anyway just to learn, so I figured I'd bring you guys along with me. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment down below. All right, the comment and engagement tells me to put out more content like this, and I truly appreciate you guys. Peace.